All right. Ian.
Patrick.
This is an interesting story about Sega released an unfinished Golden Axe demo.
So, yeah, weird story. It goes some places. So Sega of Australia in 2012 was working on a package of games that was going to kind of freshen up or reintroduce some of their old IPs. I can't remember what the name of that package was supposed to be. It was canceled anyways, but it was going to have an Endless Runner Shinobi. It was going to have an Endless Runner Shinobi. It was going to have a new Golden Axe. There was something else it was going to have. They were going to be connected by like a hub world. And Sega, during their 60th anniversary, released a bunch of interesting things, many of them for free to Steam. One of them that I thought was cool was called Streets of Kamurocho, which was basically Yakuza mixed with Streets of Rage 2. They did a full graphic swap and all that. So they were releasing kind of like fun things for their fans. Well, one of the things they released was this Golden Axe demo that was supposed to be part of the software package that I was talking about. And it had been canceled. So they gave it the, humorous title Golden Axe. And it's a one-stage demo. And I have it downloaded. And unfortunately, I did not get a chance to play it because I am ill-prepared. So people thought it was interesting to see. And it is. It's cool to see this unreleased stuff come to light. And, kind of get to see behind the scenes what they've been doing with some of these games that haven't come out. And lots of people have been calling for Sega to work on their old properties. Sega seems particularly weird about revitalizing their older stuff. It took forever to get Streets of Rage 4. It was like 30 years almost since the original. People definitely want to see a new Golden Axe. It's probably one of the IPs that comes up the most. Unfortunately, the release of it wasn't without its own little bit of drama. Where is there it is. Tim Dawson, who worked on it, put out an informative Twitter thread, giving his take on it, because he was one of the guys who worked on it. So woke up to the surprising news that Sega is releasing the Golden Axe prototype I coded in 2012 under crunch conditions. This appears to be a surprise to everyone that I worked on. He goes on to say, this project was my personal nexus of nightmare hours, inept management, industry realizations, and heroic achievements achieved with a small team under unreasonable conditions. He said, it's weird to see it 8 years later without context, 0 credits, and a joke title sequence. Right then and there, it's kind of... I understand that annoyance. If you're going to throw something out for people, at least credit the people who worked on it. Sega puts this stuff out. It's not like there weren't people behind it who had to put in some effort to make it. It's not like they just found this weird artifact sitting in the bottom of a closet. There's a story behind it. So he goes on to talk about how they had to create it in like a week and a half. He was putting in 14, 15-hour days, and they shit-canned it. So he quotes from the Steam page. He says, Golden Axe may be janky, maybe buggy, maybe an artifact of its time, but it offers a unique glimpse into the prospect of a project that could have been. And he says, go fuck yourself, parasites. I realize that the way there's a weird, I think the way that was posted on the page is very dismissive of the fact that there was any human involvement in it, and they kind of released it as a joke. I do think that crediting the people who worked on it, especially after reading the story behind it, probably would have been a nice thing to do.
So Sega initially thought it was funny to describe the demo as janky and an artifact of its time. Well, it could be an artifact of its time, but calling something janky because some guy worked on it for 2 weeks only, yeah, that's kind of disrespectful.
Yeah, artifact of its time because you didn't give it time to flourish. Like it's not like it was shit canned because
it makes it sound like, oh, this was horrible, so we didn't come out. Like, no, you gave it like 2 weeks to come up with something,
and weird marketing decisions prevented it from getting released. So that did kind of leave a bad taste in my mouth. Someone does go on to ask, I don't know if I can find it. I can't find the exact response, but someone does ask him, how do you feel about people playing? And he's like, oh, if you want to check it out, he's like, definitely check it out. He was happy with the work they did. He's like, it's out there. You might as well. He's like, I just wish, they had released it better. You know, he's like, there could have been a story to tell there.
I'll actually read Tim Dawson's his little thread here, this part of it, because this tells you the experience of what happens at the meeting when he showed this after like a week and a half, 2 weeks of trying to throw something together. Like it's a week and a half, 2 weeks to throw something playable together.
Yeah, no, this part made my blood boil.
Okay, we had 2 weeks and no time to iterate, so we made do. We just really attacked the design, knowing we wouldn't be able to course correct much, but luckily we had a talented team of artists, animators, sound designers. So you basically come together. All right, you work on this, you work, and let's just fucking go. Let's just try to do something, proof of concept. All right, so I'll skip that part. A week or so in, the lead campaigned for branching the prototype and making a Streets of Rage pitch concurrently, because to him they were the same game. It took me sending a 2 a.m. email to the studio head and let's go for a coffee and a chat the next morning to get that stopped. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You work at Sega and you think they're close to being the same game, Streets of Rage and Golden Axe?
They feel entirely different.
The biggest gut punch came a week and a half in. Combat was working. It was all on track. I was called for a meeting in the big room, so I put the latest build on the network and went to see what was up. All of management was sitting around the big table. I showed the game. Grave faces. There was a pause. Where's the wow factor? Someone asked. The lead designer once again complained it wasn't a God of War like 3D brawler like he wanted. This is a lead designer who doesn't know anything about Golden Axe and he wants a 3D brawler. Okay. Someone said maybe it'd have been better to have made a pre-rendered video where the barbarian fought a monster. This would be my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
I'm working on a game. I probably know more about the history and love this game more than I was, and people are telling me shit about a game that has nothing to do with the game that I'm working on. This is a nightmare. I experienced a moment of clarity. Either they couldn't see what was in front of them or wanted me to feel bad because it's the only way they knew how to manage. I was the guy who makes playable prototypes. I had over-delivered, and if they didn't want that, they had screwed up. I've been working 14-hour days, so I went home on time that day. I lay in my bed staring at the ceiling. They didn't want it. They wanted something else entirely. I came to my conclusion they didn't matter. I would continue doing exactly what I intended to try and deliver what Santana, Mishra, and I had planned in the beginning. So I did. Effects and polish were added. More sounds implemented. Combat timing sped up and input windows widened to make combos executive friendly. The finished build was revealed, and the same management team that had neglected me earlier, lined up to tell me how good or negatively. Okay.
Neg is the term
Yes.
that pickup artists use. You make someone
feel
feel
bad.
bad to give so that
Lower
they
their
feel-
self-esteem.
Yes.
Okay. Negged me earlier, lined up to tell me how good it was now. I felt dead inside, not just because of a couple of long 7-day work weeks and starved RSI in my right arm that would go into jeopardize development of Android Cactus, but because I had no trust left in the people who ran things. From the Steam page, Golden Axe may be janky, maybe buggy, maybe an artifact of his time, but it offers a unique glimpse into the prospect of a project that could have been. And he says, go fuck yourself.
That's
Power
what
says.
yeah.
So mismanagement, awful management. It sounds like too many cooks in the kitchen that, oh, let's do this. Not realizing, hey, this guy put something together in 2 weeks. You should be happy he
Right.
put something together.
Especially something that, looks as nice as it does from the trailer.
And it's something that from his perspective was staying true to Golden Axe, but also incorporating shit that they wanted put into this version.
Right.
So it's like, what else do you want me to do?
I've done everything I can for you.
This gives you a glimpse of how fucked up Sega is. Like just like stuff like this that went on. Like this tells you why Sega's at the low point. It still is, and trying to get out of the fucking.
Well, that was Sega Australia, which is why Sega Australia is no longer around.
It's just bad shit going on. Oh God. All right. Well, anything else to add? Yeah, changing the title to Golden Axes, that's just weird. Like, why even do that? Like, why?
Yeah, I don't know. It could have been a cool thing. They could have done it the right way. They didn't.